Now, I would say that the biggest misconception that people have when they have maybe tried to fix their posture in the past is that they think that posture is something that they're supposed to actively do. This means that most people think that in order to actually have good posture, that they need to actively kind of pull the shoulders back or try to remind themselves to actively stand taller. So what happens is they might focus on doing a certain set of exercises, try to strengthen these muscles, such as doing a bunch of rows or a bunch of shoulder blade squeezes in order to help them become stronger within these muscles. While this might make sense in theory, the truth is this usually only results in the person being able to temporarily make their posture better. And the second that they stop thinking about trying to pull their shoulders back, or the second they stop thinking about trying to stand taller, their posture will usually just goes back to its baseline, to exactly where it was before. Now, the reason why this happens is because posture isn't something that you should be constantly or consciously be thinking about all the time. But rather, it is actually something that is supposed to be something that is more automatic and something that works subconsciously in the background, very similar to how we breathe. And something to also take note of is that for people who actually have good posture is the fact that they aren't thinking about their posture all day long either. But rather it's because they actually possess the proper health and the proper function of the muscles that are supposed to manage and control their posture in the background as well. So in this module, we're going to be focusing on helping you activate and strengthen what I believe are the most important group of muscles that are actually responsible for helping you maintain, upright and more automatic posture throughout the course of the day. And what I'm referring to are a set of muscles known as your transversospinalis muscle groups. So the transversospinalis muscle groups comprise of hundreds of tiny little muscle fibers that run between each and every one of your vertebrae. And when these muscles are working appropriately, they're able to help provide mobility and also stability for each and every one of your vertebral segments. So for example, if I'm trying to do something like yoga and I'm trying to do a backward bend, or if I'm trying to do something like swing a golf club that might require a tremendous amount of twisting and rotation throughout my spine, then these muscles will be responsible for helping move your vertebrae into the certain angles and positions that are needed for the activity. Or if I just simply wanted to be able to stand upright, then it is actually the responsibility of these transversospinalis muscle groups to actually help you keep your back kind of upright and held in a locked position. However, because of the fact that people are so stiff in the middle of their back or have been kind of stuck in this kind of hunchback or humpback position like we've been talking about for the first couple of modules, what most people don't realize is the fact that when your spine is actually stuck in a position like this, that it is actually physically impossible for these tiny little muscles to be able to generate the amount of force that is needed for them to be able to do their job. And as a result of these muscles not working for an extended period of time, then they will start to become very weak and they'll become much more difficult to strengthen and activate. But the problem is, since these muscles are so small and most people aren't even aware that these muscles even exist, most people will just continue to go on with their lives, struggling with poor posture and not actually knowing what is actually causing their posture problems and that there's something that can actually be done to fix it. But once we can actually help you activate and strengthen and turn these muscles back on, it's actually fascinating to see what can happen to your posture when your body is actually able to feel like it can hold itself upright again without you having to constantly be thinking about it all the time as well. So what we want to do is to share with you some of our favorite ways to help you activate and stimulate and strengthen these transversospinalis muscle groups in order to help you develop posture over time as well. But again, also in a way where you're not having to constantly be thinking about it all the time either. All right, so the first exercise we're going to show you in Module 2 is an exercise known as the cow pose, right? So to go and demonstrate. So the cow pose is one of the most basic exercises that I think a lot of people may have been exposed to in the past, but I feel that a lot of people when they do this exercise just don't really know the finer elements in terms of form and technique. So I just want to break these things down for you a little bit further, all right? So what she's going to do is she's going to start on all fours like so, and what she wants to do is to try to create a backward bending curvature right across the middle part of her back like so, just by dropping her ribs and dropping her chest and just kind of sticking your head or her neck up towards the end like so. You want to hold this stretch for about 5 seconds. So 3, 2, 1, and go on resets. All right, and let's demonstrate that a couple more times. All right, so again, the aim of this exercise is to teach you how to create some level of activation and some level of stimulation between those tiny little muscles along the middle part of your back, known as those transversospinalis muscle groups. All right, so again, to accomplish this, just try to focus on dropping your chest and dropping your ribs, and almost pretend like you're trying to kind of arc your back around like a ball or some type of circular object that's kind of sits right between your shoulder blades like so. And you should feel quite a bit of stress. You should actually start to feel quite a bit of like tension or activation of these muscles that run right between along your spine, right between your shoulder blades. All right. Now, the most common mistake that people will make when they do this exercise, especially when they're very stiff or they're very weak in the middle part of the back, is sometimes they'll have a tendency to dump too much stress into the lower back like so, right? So if you feel a lot of motion or even start to feel some type of pain or some type of a hinging in your lower back, that means you're focusing too much on your lower back, and just try to shift your attention and your focus towards the mid to upper back like so. So do we go and demonstrate one more time? Again, you should feel some level of stimulation and some level of activation right along those muscles, right along your spine, right in the center of your back like so, okay? So 3, 2, 1, and reset. All right, so that's it for the cow pose, which is the first exercise in Module 2. Now let's get into the next exercise for today. All right, so the next exercise we're going to show you is an exercise known as the reach back. Now the reach back is one of our favorite ways to help you generate strengthening in terms of the twisting and rotation ability for the middle part of your back. So Twee, go and demonstrate. So what Twee's going to do, she's going to start on all fours, and she's going to just kind of start by sitting her hips all the way on towards her heels like so, all right? And we're gonna have her place her left hand kind of right between her knees like so, and then put her right hand behind her head and behind her neck, all right? And the goal for this exercise is to be able to create a twisting and rotation motion to be able to point your elbow all the way up towards the ceiling like so. Again, this is really going to help you start to feel and activate all those tiny little muscles along your spine to help you learn how to create twisting and rotation motion across the middle part of your back. All right, so Twee, go and demonstrate on the other side. All right, so it's going to show what it's like on the left side. And same thing, just try to really focus on pointing your elbow up towards the ceiling and trying to create some twisting and rotation motion across your ribs and across the middle part of your back like so. 3, 2, 1, go and reset. All right, so let's do the right hand again. Now, a lot of people when they do this exercise, especially in the beginning, aren't going to have the level of strength or the level of mobility that Twee's going to have. So as they start to do the stretch, they actually might only be able to go about, 2/3 or sometimes halfway up. All right, and if you start to get stuck, if you start to feel a lot of tension, a lot of restriction, similar to the first exercise that we showed you the first couple modules, then just try to stay there for a couple seconds and just give your body a chance to adapt and to adjust. And from there, take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, just try to slowly push into a deeper stretch or a deeper exercise. This is going to help, again, facilitate and start to wake up all those tiny little muscles along your spine to help you generate the level of force that is needed to create that kind of twisting and rotation motion across the middle part of your back, all right? So deep breath in again, exhale, push a little further, and hold it there for a couple seconds. It's that hold that's going to really start to challenge those muscles start to work. If you start to feel some activation or some tension along those part of your back in the middle part of your back, then how you know you're doing this exercise correctly. All right, so let's go and demonstrate on the other side one more time. So same thing, you might be able to go about halfway or 2/3 of the way up, and that's okay, stay right there. Take a nice deep breath in, exhale, and just push into a slightly deeper stretch and hold it there. You're going to hold each position for about 5 seconds, all right? And you should really feel the muscles along the middle part of your back, or sometimes also some of the muscles along your ribs, along your side. All of those muscles want to be able to wake up within this exercise. And again, hold it there for about 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and come back down. All right, so that's it for the reach back. Now let's get into the next exercise for today. All right, so this next exercise we want to show you is probably my personal favorite exercise to teach to a lot of our patients when we're helping them learn how to activate and strengthen those transversal spinalis muscle groups that run up and down their spine, all right? So this is an exercise known as the short stop exercise, which is also known as an isometric deadlift, all right? So what Twee's going to do is she's going to start by standing with her knees bent and just kind of putting her hands on her knees, kind of like a shortstop, kind of baseball player would. And what she's going to do is also start with her back in a forward bent or rounding position like so. Again, this is the posture that a lot of people are going to find themselves in throughout the course of the day. And the goal of this exercise is to teach you how to create a backward bending curvature across the middle part of your back to take your back from a forward bent position into a nice neutral position like so. So do you go and demonstrate? right? So as you can see here, Twee's kind of keeping her back in a nice straight position, and it's the act of taking your back from a forward bend position into what is known as a straight or neutral position is what is going to ensure that those tiny little muscles all in your back are doing their job, right? And from there, pull your shoulders back. Make sure that your chest is out as well, and it's going to help you to learn how to activate your latissimus dorsi muscle, which will also provide a lot of stability for your spine as well. And from there, go and stand up nice and slow. And then at the top, when you stand up, make sure you tense your glutes, keep your abs tight, and also make sure that your shoulders are down and back as well. And this will just continue to help you fortify the correct musculature to help you improve your posture over time. All right, so let's just demonstrate a couple more times. All right, so Twee's going to start by just kind of bending over with her hands down towards her knees and just kind of slowly take her back from a forward bend position into a nice straight neutral position and kind of hold it right there. And again, you should start to hopefully feel some level of activation or just some level of stimulation right along the muscles between your shoulder blades, right along your spine through here. All right. And again, that's how you're going to know that those muscles are actively working, they are doing their job, and then hold that position for a couple seconds, and then from there, pull your shoulders back behind your back like so. Make sure that your chest is out, and then again, this is going to make sure that all of the back shoulder muscles are working as well. And then go ahead and stand up nice and slow. All right, tight glutes, tight abs, shoulders back. All right, let's just demonstrate it one more time. Right. Again, for a lot of people when they do this exercise in the beginning, this might feel quite a bit awkward. You might not have a lot of good, sensation or feeling as to what's going on within this part of your back, and that's okay. That's completely normal. This is why we're trying to do this exercise, right? But the more you practice and the more you start to be able to feel some of that mobility occurring through the middle part of your back, especially again, really focusing on feeling your back going from a forward bend position into a backward bend position is what we want to focus on, right? And then at the top, push your hips forward, right? Shoulders down and back. 3, 2, 1. All right. So that's it for the short stop or isometric deadlift exercise. Now let's move into the next exercise for today. All right, so this next exercise is probably what I believe is the most effective and most potent exercise to really help you strengthen and activate all those tiny little muscles along your back, known as those transversospinalis muscles. All right, so Twee, go and demonstrate. So Twee here is going to use a bamboo stick here, but you can use a yoga strap, you can use an umbrella, just anything light. And the exercise is Twee is just going to just kind of lift the bar above her head, and then from there she's going to kind of slowly push the bar as far back, behind her head. Keep your neck straight right there, and try to push the bar behind the head as much as you can. Right? And this will really kind of force all those muscles along the middle of your back to learn how to create that kind of extension or backward bending motion. And again, just create a lot of stimulation, a lot of activation right along those muscles along the spine. 3, 2, 1, and go and come back all the way down. And let's just demonstrate it a couple more times, right? So start by just bringing the stick above your head. And you want to make sure, and Twee's doing a good job of it, to make sure that as you start to push the stick behind your head, to make sure that you aren't overarching through your lower back like so, right? So to make sure that you keep your lower back protected, just keep your glutes slightly protected or slightly engaged, and really focus your concentration and your effort on trying to create this kind of backward bending curvature right across the part between your shoulder blades. And this will really get those muscles just to kind of kick in and start to activate and start to fire. And it'll start to feel really good when you start to feel those muscles engage. 3, 2, 1, go ahead and come all the way back down. And let's just demonstrate it one more time, all right? So again, just kind of lifting the stick above her head. And one more thing to take note of is as you start to lift the bar above your head, if you start to feel the muscles on the top of your shoulders start to get tight, then just try to remember to kind of push your shoulders down away from your ears, and this will kind of make sure that you are focusing on squeezing and engaging those muscles between the middle of your back to make sure that you aren't creating too much tightness of the muscles on the top of your shoulder, right? And then slowly push the bar as far back behind your back as you can. Again, this exercise will absolutely start to stimulate and activate all the right muscles all in the middle part of your back. Almost all of our patients, when they do this exercise, can feel that kind of unmistakable tightness and activation right along those muscles. 3, 2, one, and go and come back down. Again, this is, I believe, the most effective way to just start to wake up all those postural muscles which may be, very weak or have been, very, lazy over the past several years. So that's it for the overhead extension exercise. Now let's go into the next exercise for today. All right, so this next exercise is known as a half kneeling twist. Go and demonstrate. And this is one of the most challenging but also most effective exercises to really help you strengthen the rotational aspect of those transversospinalis muscles right along the middle part of your back, right? So what she's going to do is she's going to start by kneeling on a pad here, and she's going to be pretty close to a wall. And again, she wants to be in this kind of half kneel position where one knee is down and the other knee is up. And she's going to kind of start her hands clasped together, almost like she's in an open book position. And then from there, she's actually going to form an open book stretch while in a kneeling position like so. And she's essentially going to try to open up and twist and rotate and try to get her hand to be able to touch the opposite floor or the opposite wall. And again, this is going to really help you activate and stimulate all of those muscles along the middle part of your back and help you create a tremendous amount of twisting and rotation strengthening as well. So Tweet, go ahead and close up the book. All right, and let's go and demonstrate one more time. You're starting to lean forward a little bit there, so just try to get a little bit more kind of upright through your hips and through your back. Perfect, all right, so let's reset and let's demonstrate again. So again, essentially performing a kneeling open book like we showed you in Module 1. And I also want to make sure that you keep in mind that she's doing a really good job of keeping her knee and her hip kind of planted right here. And if you can try to remember that you can also put a ball here just to make sure that you're maintaining contact with your knee, and this will prevent any unnecessary rotation through your hip and through your upper back. Go and close up the book. Great job. And let's just demonstrate it one more time. Again, Twee makes it look really easy since she's quite flexible and she's quite mobile, but I guarantee you this exercise is quite difficult, especially for people who are very tight, who are very stiff, who are very weak within this area. But the harder this exercise is, the more effective it's going to be at helping you strengthen and activate all those muscles along your spine to help you create that twisting and rotation along your back, which will absolutely help you fix your posture over time. All right? So that's it for the kneeling twist. Make sure that you also perform this exercise on the other side. About 3 sets, about 5 repetitions on each side should be enough. Right? So that's it for the kneeling twist.